Hey guys, today I'll be taking a look at this very possible 2024 matchup. This one is between incumbent President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. These are two men that if they want their party's nomination, they will get their party's nomination. As long as Donald Trump or Joe Biden announce that they are running in 2024, this will be the matchup. Because looking at this list of Republicans, you see this entire list of potential 2024 GOP nominees here. These are the chances in terms of betting odds of each of these people becoming the eventual 2024 Republican Party nominee for president. But if Donald Trump runs for re-election in 2024, Ron DeSantis, Kristi Noem, Ted Cruz, Mike Pence, Mike Pompeo, Tom Cotton, Marco Rubio, everybody on this list, with the exception of Mitt Romney, Larry Hogan, and Kristi Noem, are essentially 100% going to bow out of the race. They won't even consider. They're not going to go against Donald Trump because Donald Trump is the leader of the Republican Party. A majority of Republicans, an overwhelming majority of Republicans, want Donald Trump. It's not that he still has a pretty strong following. It's that basically the entire party follows Donald Trump, and any of these people that wants to challenge Trump seriously, that is just political suicide for them. If Ron DeSantis has a high chance right now of winning, that's just because there's other factors. This is not just winning. This is speculation. Considering whether or not they will run, there's a pretty high chance that Trump does not run. But if he does, it's going to be an issue for many of these other candidates that want to run in 2024. They're not going to go against Trump because they're basically just not going to win in the future, and they need the support of Trump voters, and Ron DeSantis currently is doing a very good job with that, and he's not going to let that go. They want the support of the Trump voters in the future than to challenge Donald Trump and potentially win the nomination, which is still very, very unlikely. So even though Donald Trump is not currently the favorite to win the 2024 GOP nomination, if he runs, he's going to get it. Ron DeSantis is in no way going to challenge Donald Trump if Donald Trump does run. Once Trump runs, everybody's going to start bowing out of the race. You might see Nikki Haley stay. She's been more anti-Trump. Larry Hogan's probably not even going to run, nor Mitt Romney. So really, you're going to have like two people. I think that Nikki Haley really is the only prominent Republican that is against Donald Trump. As for the Democrats here, Kamala Harris does have the highest chance right now. That's just Joe Biden, the oldest president ever, older than when Ronald Reagan left office. So Joe Biden, again, if he wants to run, he's the incumbent president. There really won't even be a primary. There technically is, but it's really nothing to worry about for anyone. So I'm going to start off by filling in the solid states for Joe Biden on this electoral map. And so I want to do this a little bit differently from my normal predictions. I'm going to be going off of the approval rating that Joe Biden currently has. So using that approval rating to make this prediction. So I'm going to fill in the solid states first for both of these candidates. Just the actual solid ones for both Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I'm taking out Mississippi and putting in these three states here. So this gives Donald Trump 74 electoral votes, and I'm also going to give Joe Biden both Colorado and New Mexico in this scenario, so and as well as Illinois, of course. So this gives Biden actually 195 electoral votes from his solid states to Trump with 74 from his solid states with margins of over 15% in favor of each of these individuals. So I'm going to start off by taking a look at the approval rating of Joe Biden, which currently stands at 53.6%. This is definitely a pretty strong approval rating. Historically speaking, for a new president, it's definitely pretty horrendous, actually, 53%. But you gotta remember, only 50% of Americans voted for him, and politics is more polarizing now than it has really ever been. And I mean, having 39% disapprove, that is really, really good. Joe Biden is the most prominent politician in the country right now, and Joe Biden really shows his ability to have done so well in the 2020 presidential election. He was really the most popular candidate in the race towards the end, and 53.6%, I think he should be happy about. Compared to other presidents, of course, it's not good. It's comparable to some, but it's really not better than too many. The only one that Biden's actually better than is Donald Trump. But you got to take a look. If you look at the 8-year graphs, I mean, Biden's approval right now in the green there really isn't that bad. Presidents have had way lower points, but these presidents also have had way higher maximums because people were so much more open to supporting their president in the past than they are right now. So Joe Biden now at 53.6%. I'm going to use this number. I think that Trump is not just going to get 40%. He's going to get more than 40% of the vote. But I'm going to take this 53% number and use that as the popular vote margin that Joe Biden is going to get. Now, before we move forward, make sure to join my Discord server if you have not. The link to which is at the very top of the description below. We have a pretty cool mock government on there, so make sure to join that if you have not. Just click on the link at the top of the description. So this gives Joe Biden 195 electoral votes. So every single state on this map that I gave to Joe Biden as solid was solid for him in 2020, with the exception of the states of Colorado and New Mexico. I think that with such a strong victory for Joe Biden, which I think really could be likely because he really came into office at a very good time. It was when COVID was, a really big thing around the country. He has definitely improved it. You may not think so, but in the majority of Americans' eyes, he has done a very good job with that. And over 60% of Americans approve of Biden's handling of COVID-19. And with just how big of a deal it has been, I think definitely that will help him a lot. I think that will also help the Democrats in the midterms in 2022. They're the one that got the stimulus passed, not the Republicans. Not a single Republican voted for stimulus checks, in which 70% of Americans actually supported. So definitely the Democrats, I think, are doing well right now. For Joe Biden, I think Colorado definitely could go to become a solid state, and in New Mexico, it could go to become solid as well there, with such a strong margin for Biden on the national level. Because if you think about it, if he wins around 53, 54% of the vote, Donald Trump realistically is only going to win 43, 44. So it's going to be an 8 to 10% victory for Joe Biden in this scenario. So definitely, that would be very, very strong. That would basically be Obama level margins. And then in 2008, of course, the state of New Mexico was solid for Barack Obama. He won it by 15.1%. Just back in 2004, this was a Bush state. I mean, Bush won New Mexico in 2004. But in 2008, Obama won it by a solid margin. So definitely things could shift, drastically here. And from that 10 to 15%, I don't think it'll be that difficult if Joe Biden is doing so well. So I'm going to fill in the likely states for Donald Trump, starting off with Montana. Montana in 2020 was still a Trump state by a pretty solid margin, 16%. But I don't see it, improving in 2024. Montana, in this general region, very, very red. The Dakotas, Wyoming, and Idaho, all very, very red states. Montana is a little bit bluer, but still, it is still pretty red. I mean, Idaho, 30%, Wyoming, 43%, and then the Dakotas, 20s and 30s. So Montana definitely is a little bit bluer, and I think that 2024, with Biden's popularity, it will be a likely state. Kansas and Missouri also going to be likely, as well as the 1st District of Nebraska. In the 1st District of Nebraska, Trump won by 14.9%. It's probably going to be around the same, but I think it's going to go down as well. Kansas is probably going to go down to there, and Missouri barely 15%. So both these states going to be likely. Another one is Mississippi, just 16.5%. Of course, with this victory for Joe Biden, definitely Democrats can do better. I mean, these southern states have a huge African American population that can definitely help the Democrats out. It's just all about getting that turnout, and Mississippi, I think, will definitely be a likely state in this scenario for Donald Trump. But still, I mean, these states have no chance at going to Joe Biden. Joe Biden has no chance in any of these states. Now, for South Carolina, another likely state, I would say that's likely as well. And in Indiana, just 16% in 2020 for Trump, and that is with Mike Pence, the governor of Indiana, formerly on the ticket with Donald Trump. I think both these states will be likely. Indiana, I don't think will be any better for Donald Trump. He no longer has Mike Pence on the ticket. Mike Pence definitely did help him in the Midwest, especially in Indiana. That's why if you look at the 2012 margin here, it was just 10% for Mitt Romney. In 2016, Trump wins it by 19.2%. And remember, in 2008, this was an Obama state by 1%. So definitely the Republicans have done very well in the southern region of the Rust Belt over the last couple of elections, but I think that it's not going to improve in 2024. So this gives Trump 121 electoral votes and Joe Biden 195. Now, for his likely states, I'm going to start off by the state of Maine. The state of Maine going to be likely for Joe Biden. Of course, in 2020, it was 9.1% for Joe Biden, and the state of Maine has been pretty blue for a while. Even Clinton won it, but just by 2.9%. Definitely, she was a great disappointment for the Republican Party. Obama won it by 15%. Even in 2012, in 2008, Obama won it by 17 points. So Maine has been pretty blue, and Joe Biden, I think, is going to carry the state by a pretty good margin, but definitely not going to be solid anytime soon. New Hampshire as well, going to be a likely state for Joe Biden. Joe Biden won it by 7.4%. Of course, 4 years prior, 2016, Clinton wins it by 0.37%. I mean, that was a horrible, devastating margin for her. And then Minnesota, she wins by 1.5%, but Joe Biden comes back and wins it by 7%. So Minnesota going to be another likely state for Joe Biden. These have been historically Democratic states, have been more Democratic than Republican, especially Minnesota. Minnesota, again, has never voted for a Republican since 1974, I believe. In 1976, with the election of Jimmy Carter, it's been voting blue ever since, and it has never voted red since then. So even when Reagan won every single state except for Minnesota in 1984, Minnesota was still blue. It went to Mondale by 0.18%, and just looking at DC, it was still 85% of people in District of Columbia voted for Walter Mondale when only one other state did. So that's just how red DC is, and that's just how red Minnesota has been historically. But of course, it's not, the trends there aren't the best for the Democrats, but still, it's still a pretty solid state for Joe Biden. Virginia as well, 10% for Joe Biden. It's not going to decrease. The state is moving more and more to the left as more Northern Virginians shift the state leftward, and typically, this state used to be a GOP stronghold, but as the North Virginia area here has shifted left, the state has shifted left by quite a bit. I mean, this state was the home of the capital of the Confederacy, so this state used to be really Republican, but not anymore. And so this gives Joe Biden 223 electoral votes from his likely states. Now, for the lean states for Donald Trump, these are margins between 2 and 7%. I'm starting off with Alaska. I think Alaska is going to get closer and closer. It definitely got much closer in 2020. If you look at the 2016 margin for Trump here, 14.7%. In 2020, Donald Trump wins it by 10%. So just with simple math, Trump should lose this by 4%. That's not going to happen. That's not how things work. But definitely things will get closer and closer in Texas, or not Texas, Alaska. And I think that Alaska will definitely get closer and closer. I mean, if you just look at 2012, this was 14%, but 2008, this was 21% for John McCain. That was when Sarah Palin was on the ticket. So maybe she really did make the difference for John McCain in 2008. So Sarah Palin was, the governor of Alaska, but Trump wins Alaska by 10%. That was a pretty weak margin. Just look back at the margin here, 2004. Bush wins it by 25%. Even in the really close election of 2000, Bush wins it by 31%. So definitely not the numbers Trump wanted to see from Alaska or many of these traditionally solid Republican states that he carried by solid margins in 2016. And really, I think that Donald Trump did very well in the Rust Belt. He's definitely very popular in the Rust Belt, but I think that everywhere else, he really has not been doing that well, especially the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt has been disastrous under Donald Trump. Texas has gone down over 10 percentage points in the margins there. Florida is the only state here in which Trump is doing better in. Georgia has flipped blue. Arizona has been flipped blue. New Mexico, Colorado, bluer than ever. And North Carolina is getting closer than ever. So definitely Donald Trump has a lot to worry about in 2024. And I'm going to move on to take a look at some other lean states for Trump. Iowa and Ohio, definitely. I think that they're still going to go to Trump. 2016, Trump wins Ohio by 9%, Ohio by 8%. 2020, Democrats thought they'd do better, but still, Trump wins Ohio and Iowa by 8%. Really no change. I think the margin can go down by 1% in 2024, but it's not going to be that different, but it's going to be a lean margin nonetheless. And then another lean state I have for Donald Trump. I actually don't have any more lean states. All right, so no more lean states for Donald Trump. I did miss a likely district for Joe Biden. That is the 2nd district of Nebraska. That's going to be likely for Joe Biden on this electoral map. Now moving on to the lean districts, or not districts, lean states for the incumbent president Joe Biden. The entire Rust Belt here, the 3 states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, going to be lean for Joe Biden, definitely. No doubt about that. These 3 states, I think if Joe Biden wins 53% of the vote nationwide, there's no way these margins will be smaller than that. Biden already won Michigan by a lean margin. Pennsylvania just needs to go up 0.8%, and Wisconsin just 1.4%. That's definitely doable for the Biden campaign in 2024. So I have really no doubt that they're going to win these, and this gives Joe Biden 268 electoral votes. Before going further, I'm going to give Trump the 2nd district of Maine by tilt margin. That's what I think is going to look like under this scenario. So Joe Biden, 2 electoral votes away from winning. I'm going to give him Nevada. This puts him over 270, but the state of Nevada, I think definitely is going to be lean for Joe Biden. It's going to go up in margin, but Nevada hasn't been the best for the Democratic Party recently. In 2008, of course, 12% for Barack Obama, 2016, 2.4% for Clinton, and now 2020 still 2.4% for Joe Biden. So this gives Biden now 274 electoral votes, and so he's now crossed 270. I'm going to give Donald Trump Texas. I'm just going to get that out of the way. I think it's going to be tilt if Joe Biden does so well on the national level. Texas continues to shift blue, and I think that with Beto O'Rourke possibly challenging Ted Cruz for that seat, I think that's definitely going to boost the Democratic Party there. I mean, this state has gone from, in 2012 for Mitt Romney, 15%, 16% now, 2020, just 5% for Donald Trump. So it's definitely gone blue a lot, and I can definitely see the margin going under 2% for Donald Trump in 2024. And so, yeah, but another state that I think that Donald Trump will win by tilt margin in, that is the state of Florida. The trends in Florida really are just not favoring the Democratic Party. They're just losing there more and more. There's Republican senators, both of them, as well as a Republican governor that has a very high chance at winning re-election. So Florida, that Latino vote, that really did crush Joe Biden. He is not, doing that well with the Cuban voters in Florida right now. I think the margins will definitely go down in 2024 under 2%, like the Clinton margin of 1.2% under Donald Trump, but I think that definitely is going to be an issue for the Democratic Party there. But Joe Biden, I have given him Arizona as well as Georgia. I just think that he's going to do well in both these areas. These are areas that are continuously going to shift blue. I mean, Democrats now control both seats in Georgia in the Senate as well as Arizona. And Democrats are very likely to win the governorship in Georgia as well in 2022 if Stacey Abrams runs against Brian Kemp, who is basically popular with no one. And then for the state of Georgia, this is the state, Joe Biden flipped as well as Joe Biden flipped Arizona. So these states definitely going to stay blue. And the final state of North Carolina, I also have for Joe Biden. I think he can definitely win this state. So this is going to be Trump 1.3% in 2020. That can definitely change. The state is moving more and more to the left just in general. Democrats have a very good chance here in the Senate in 2024. And so this gives Joe Biden 318 electoral votes to Donald Trump at 220. If you're wondering why not that much changed, really the American electorate does not change that much. It's changing less and less actually. If you go back like 1984, huge changes from 1984 to 1988, and then 1996 and 1992. Huge changes from this map for Bush to this map for Clinton over Bush. So changes are in these elections happen a lot less frequently now, and so I think it's gonna make things a little bit less exciting, honestly, with all of these, with this the shortage of flips and stuff. So really, the only flip on this map with North Carolina, and a lot of you guys have been asking me what map this is. This is jacksonjude.com. So jacksonjude.com. So map.jacksonjude.com. So just type that in and you should get it. So that is my prediction for Joe Biden versus Donald Trump with the popularity of Joe Biden as of right now. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like this video down below if you joined us. Subscribe to my channel if you have not. Comment down below who you think would win between Donald Trump and Joe Biden in 2024. Join my Discord server if you have not. We have a pretty cool mock government on there. Link to which is at the very top of the description below. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.